Hey everybody, thanks for taking the time to click on this video because it's gonna be a hard video for me to do because I'm gonna try to wrap up the last 13 years of my life. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it might help other women out there realize that they've gone through something just like this or similar to this, and it's just to let you know that you're not alone out there. Because let me start this way. Back in 2007, I started dating. I had a 6-year-old daughter. Well, I use those dating apps, One of my top 10 matches started messaging me, and messaging back. 2 weeks after we really started talking, the second time we ever really met, him, his daughter, and his stepchild move in. 2 weeks after talking with him. I just knew he was the thing, he was the one. And he felt the same way. He knew that I was the girl of his dreams, literally. So we moved in together. Things happened where his stepchild moved out, moved in with his grandparents or something like that. So it was just me, him, our 2 daughters. At the time, he was truck driving, like internationally, and all 4 of us went on trips to Colorado, which was really fucking cool because it was the first time I was that far away from home. It was my first time across the Mississippi. That's a big deal, to get on the other side of the Mississippi. It's like, oh my God, those were good times. Those are good times. We always traveled. Whenever he came home, we'd always go out to eat, go to the park, just do the family thing. Well, in 2008, we had our son. Well, here's our 5th member of our family, makes our family a whole. Nope, things couldn't have been any happier. Well, me and the guy got married in 2011. And he was still truck driving, and he also switched to be a manager of a diesel shop. So he had that job for a little while. But then he went back into a truck because he just loved driving. There's a peacefulness on the road that if you drive or you travel a lot, you understand there's that peacefulness of it. So, 2012, 4 days away from my birthday, talking to him on the phone. He's getting ready to get off the next exit and go to bed. So, I lay down, get off the phone, I get a call a half hour later. It's my husband. He's panicked. He's scared. I can't understand what he's saying. I'm like, baby, I can't understand you. You gotta slow down. I don't know. What are you trying to say? I can't understand you. Phone went dead. So I started calling. About the 8th time I called, a man answers the phone and says, hello, who is this? And I said, this is so-and-so's wife, you know. He's like, well, I hate to inform you this, but your husband's been in a bad accident. And I hate to tell you this, ma'am, but I'm looking at his scalp, and he's being life flighted to the nearest hospital, which was East Texas. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get hold of his mom, my mother-in-law, get hold of her, let her know what happened, and maybe she'll fly me down, or maybe she'll fly down, or somebody will go to him. Because I'm talking to the doctors and talking to the nurses, and they're telling me that he needs to be there for 2 weeks, for observation and for testing, and, because he was in a severe accident. He had head trauma, he had 2 vertebrae fractured, he had a lot of trauma. Well, his mother and his sister convinced the hospital to release him because he needed to be home with his family. So my husband flew by himself after a head trauma, with all the pressure and all that, with a severe head trauma, flew home himself 2 days later. My husband, being the man that he is, was stubborn and said that he just needed to go to the doctors. He didn't need to go back into the hospital. He wanted to be at home where I could take care of him. So that's what I did for a full year as he was recovering from his accident, because he would have terrible bouts of dizziness and terrible bouts of forgetfulness, and everything to do with your head trauma, because there's just so much your brain does that you really don't realize it does. And where he got hit was in the personality section of his head. So my husband changed over the years, and he changed to a person that was always angry, always depressed. And then he'd get really happy and, be himself again. And then he'd go right back to being depressed because, he was a man that was used to providing for his family, used to being that breadwinner, and prided himself on that. He really did. He prided himself on who he was. The great father, the great husband, the provider. He prided himself on that. So, with him no longer being able to do that because of his head trauma, well, he got depressed. He, just wasn't himself. He talked about how he felt he had 5 different personalities. And the thing is that I truly believed him, because I could literally wake up to a different husband every day. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's hard to explain. But he literally was a different person each day. Throughout the years, he had a lot of anger issues. Said things he really didn't mean to say. Did things he really didn't mean to do. Well, my husband always loved to ride motorcycles. We got motorcycles. A couple years into our marriage, he got his first Harley, and we loved riding together. I was his ride or die chick. I did whatever he did, went wherever he went. We were always together. That's just how we were. You know, you didn't see one without the other. So my husband runs into an old friend of his, and he's telling him about his bike club that he has, and my husband joined a brotherhood, this bike club, and found some really awesome people, really awesome friends, people that I still associate with because there's some awesome people. I mean, well, my husband before he met me had a crack cocaine issue that he actually put himself through rehab on, and he got himself off of it. And his one friend in the town that he was always in, I mean, I can't blame anybody for my husband's actions because my husband's actions were his own. He didn't have to start snorting coke again. He didn't have to. He didn't smoke it, but he still snorted it. Well, then my husband started lying about the money. I was working. Our two teenage daughters were working because they were teenagers at that time. And whenever we got paid, we gave him the money. He would give me this much for groceries, or he would give me, you know, pretty much whenever we touched the money, it was either without him knowing before we handed him over the paychecks, or if he gave it to us. He was telling people we were using it. We were using it on all kind of stuff, you know. So some people started to look down on us, say that, we were doing wrong and saying some pretty nasty things about us. So his addiction continued. And meanwhile, he gets diagnosed with bipolar disorder on top of his extreme anxiety and his head traumas. Now he's using cocaine. So my husband's thinking and his personality went from family guy to I can do whatever the fuck I want. Well, I still stuck by his side because I knew deep down my husband was in there somewhere. I tried to tell people that I thought would want to help. I told them about his cocaine addiction again. Some believed me, some didn't. Some knew I was right. It came a time where my husband stopped coming home because he said he didn't have gas to come home. Well, this went on for a couple months. And I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing? What's going on? Your family needs you. Where are you? He's telling me he's confused. He don't know what he wants in life. He wants to run away from it all, be on his own, disappear. Then he'll tell me, but I want you and the kids in my life. Let's all fucking disappear. Let's all get away. Then I started seeing text messages that were like, hi, baby. I didn't say anything. About a week goes by. He's home one day. We spend time together. I go to work. He texts me. He's like, hey, you know, I hate to talk about this stuff over text. He's like, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. He's like, there's something going on that you should know about. And I said, that chick? He's like, oh my God, you know her name. You know what's going on. How do you know this? I'm like, I'm not stupid. But I sat back in that week that I was thinking, you know, and I was so stupid in love that I told my husband, go ahead and see her. If she is going to make you happy, if she's that thing you're missing in life, see her. But just remember, I'm here at home waiting for you. And I will always be here waiting for you. He's like, really? So, a couple months goes by. He's like, hey, I got an issue. I want to bring her home, but you and the kids are here. Yeah, this is our home. Well, do you guys think you can, like, try to work on maybe spending a night somewhere so I can bring her home? Okay. You know, so me and the kids are out of the house. He has her over. Well, he calls us back to the house. He's like, everybody just go home. Just go home. So we all come back home. Except for him, he stays in the town. And, well, he's sitting there and, you know, telling me he don't want to hurt me by walking away from me. He don't want to divorce me. He wants to stay my husband and me be his wife. But he don't want to hurt her because, you know, they make each other happy, and you know the couple weeks, you know, the couple months they spent together, you know, meant a lot to him, and you know he's happy that I'm so understanding, and blah 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 blah. Well, 2 days later, he's like, "Hey, can you find somewhere you can spend a week?" He's like, "I need a week just to myself." He's like, I'm not gonna have her over. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. I just need a week just to think everything through. Is there any way you guys can go somewhere for a week? Our one daughter decided she was going to move in with the family that she was still staying at. Me and my son go to a friend's house and stay in their camper. And our other daughter, she's staying with friends. And he has the whole house to himself for a week. You know, a couple days into it, he calls me to the house. We spend time together. We talk. We have a heart to heart. Tell each other, after doing what married couples do, he draws me back off at my friend's house, tells me he loves me, gives me a kiss. And he says, in a couple of days, I'll call you so you guys can come back home. He's like, I don't like being home alone. So it's like, okay, give him a couple more days. He'll call me home. The 5th day, I was out of the house. We all were out of the house. The 5th day. My one daughter was contacting my husband all day and annoying the fuck out of him because she wanted to come pick up the rest of her stuff. She was moving in with her friend. She wanted to come pick up the rest of her stuff, and she needed to know when they could do that. Well, my husband kept telling her, I'm too busy right now, you got to make another time, blah, 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 blah. Well, in the meanwhile, he got into a small accident on his bike, and he said he wasn't hurt, nothing like that. He wasn't hurt, the bike was okay, he's okay, he was gonna come home and, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. A couple hours later, I'm at work. My manager comes to me, he's like, hey, you need to come outside with me for a minute. And I'm like, am I fired? What's going on? He's like, no, just come outside for a minute. So I'm like, okay. So I walk outside. 2 police officers walk around the building. And I'm thinking, oh great, what the fuck's going on now? They come to me and say, ma'am, is so your husband? I said, yes. I regret to inform you, he's been in an accident and he's gone. I said, I know about his accident. He was fine after his accident. They're like, what do you mean? Which accident did you talk to him after he had? I said, I talked to him at like 2 o'clock. He had the accident around 1:30, 1:45, somewhere around there. They're like, ma'am, this accident happened just about 50 minutes ago. So, calls mom. I said, Mom, what are we gonna do? What's our next step? She tells me, you don't do nothing. You go back to your friend's house and you stay there. You come back to my son's house, I'm gonna press trespassing charges on you. That's my house. All my stuff's in my house. Whatever ain't my son's is getting thrown away. I call the police department. I'm like, this is what's going on. This is what I'm being told. They're like, you go home? Do you have proof you live there? I said, yeah, it's on my driver's license. I got bills in my name. I mean, yes, I have proof that's my house. Go home. If you have any issues, call us. So I went home. My one daughter came, picked up all of her stuff, and she still left home. After what just happened, she still left home. Our other daughter, she was there picking up her stuff. Well, meanwhile, my mother heard about what was going on. My mother contacted me. She's like, do you need me to be there? I said, I just need somebody for support. If you want to be here, be here. You know, if you don't, I don't care. She's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Well, meanwhile, I'm telling her everything that my mother-in-law is telling me. And she's like, no, is she on the way here? And I said, well, yeah, she's on the way here. My mom's like, we need to call the police and have them be here when she gets here. She's like, because you know damn well she's going to end up calling the police on you. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, so the police were called. And they're like, well, whenever she gets there, you know, let us know. I said, she's like 5 minutes away. Please, you know, be here. Because I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't want it to get ugly. You know, this is my mother-in-law. You know, we just lost him. Emotions are high. So, my mother-in-law, well, the police get there, you know, 2 cop cars. There was the one sergeant that came and informed me about my husband's passing, and another officer. Well, my mother-in-law pulls up right after they do. They go tell her that, you know, legally, completely legally, this is her house. With her husband passing, everything in it is hers and her children's. My mother-in-law was trying to say, oh, that isn't her house. You know, her son's disability check fucking paid the rent and paid the bills, and it ain't my house. The police differ on that. Legality differs on that. We're married. So, again, eviction letter. That's what the police told her to do. You want her out? Evict her. So I got out by the end of the month, which was about 2.5 weeks after my husband passing. Anyone that moves knows that it's really hard to move in 2.5 weeks. But I did it. So, on one of the last days I'm there, my mother-in-law and her boyfriend pulls up, and they're like, well, you know, gave him the keys, whatever. My mom calls me. She's like, are you aware that you're not in the obituary at all? I said, what do you mean I'm not in the obituary? but his girlfriend was. So I was told that, oh, I was going to be able to help with the arrangements and all that stuff, and they never included me in any of it. So we buried my husband. Then I started finding out a lot of stuff. Started finding out all the lies. Started finding out too much. You know, I never knew that one person could have so much hate in their heart. It's been about 6 months since he's been gone. And I'm still hearing the lies. And people are telling me that I need to forgive and forget, and I need to put what has happened in the past and forgive my mother-in-law. And with everything I've learned the last 6 months, the woman hated me. And all I ever did was see her as a mom. And she hated me. I mean, I could go through all the details. I can go through all the hurt. But I don't want to. You know, I sat down and before I made this video, I said, oh, I'm gonna get nitty gritty. I'm gonna tell all the details. I'm gonna, you know, and how that I'm doing it, I can't put I don't want to put her name through the ringer like that. She was my mom for 13 years, 12 years. She did so much for us. But it wasn't till my husband got into cocaine again and money started disappearing. He was constantly lying to her, telling me, you better not be telling her what's fucking going on. I'm gonna tell her what I want her to know. And I didn't know he was blaming me and the kids for spending all the money. I didn't know he was telling her that the house was constantly a freaking wreck and a mess, and it wasn't. I can't help it. He was telling her the stuff he was. She in the end, I was the bad guy. From then on out, she treated me like I was shit. I mean, and I tried everything. I even tell her the truth whenever my husband was telling me not to. I tried to tell her, you know, he's back on this, you know. That's the reason why he's dating that woman, because she does that too. And oh, my son would never do that. He would never, you know, do that again, blah, blah, blah. All I know is my last 13 years of my life have been the most eye-opening years I'll probably ever have. But life goes on. I'm still doing what I need to do for me and my family. And all I got to say is karma's a bitch. And she has her name. I don't wish anything bad upon anybody. Never. But karma will come after those who deserve it. If you actually made it through this whole video, thank you. But all I got to say is peace, love, and happiness. And I hope all you guys well out there.